I don't have a gavel, so I'm doing my best to imitate a gavel. Tim Penny, president of the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. And not that, first of all, thank you for so many of you turning out tonight for our annual Sprout event. We used to do luncheons in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, to celebrate the work that we do in the region and to bring in all of our regional partners and friends and donors. But several years ago, the staff came up with an even better idea, and that was to do something similar to Business After Hours. Chamber Director Nort Johnson is here somewhere. He can relate to Business After Hours. I think in Faribault, Nort, you also do Business Before Hours. But it's a way to make it more accessible to more people, because we have a lot of friends and partners across the 20-county region that our foundation serves. And we just wanted to have an opportunity to get together with you, share some snackies with you, tell you a little bit about our work in the region, and feature a few of our partners here in the region. But we're going to keep it very brief. I don't know if any of you are aware of this, a handful of you I think are. I'm going to retire after 18 years sometime in the not too distant future. We're in the process of onboarding some new individual who will take this foundation forward. This then could be my last Sprout event, and I'm going to miss these, although maybe I'll still show up in future years, because I love this event and I love the region we serve. Our foundation has been around for almost 40 years now. We came into existence in what was then referred to as the farm crisis. I just bumped into a farm family moments ago who benefited from some of the work we did to pass farm debt restructuring legislation and stop the hemorrhaging, because too many farm families were being driven from their land. But at that time, the farm families were suffering, small towns were suffering, and our foundation was created by the McKnight Foundation to be one of 6 rural foundations in Minnesota to help these respective rural regions build back and build for the future. And so 18 years ago, having come home from Washington, 18 years ago, I was approached to take this job, and it was the smartest decision I ever made, because here at the foundation, we get things done. And we get things done in partnership and collaboration with other groups and organizations that are working on the issues that we invest in. We have a great board of directors that helps guide our work, and a wonderful staff, and I'll ask them to show their hands later in the program, who carry out this work day in and day out. But we segment our work into 3 buckets. One is a lot of programming and grant making around early childhood needs. Another is a lot of grant-making, lending, and programming around entrepreneurship and helping communities support entrepreneurs. And the 3rd bucket of our work is dedicated to small towns, because there aren't many foundations you can turn to get money in small towns. We wanted to be one of those foundations. And one of the ways we help, in addition to grant-making and the Paint the Town grant that we offer every year, and a lot of those projects you can see here in the area, is we help smaller towns create and maintain community funds. Because that way you can build an endowment, take tax-deductible donations, invest in your own town's future for things that matter most to you. So that's kind of who we are and what we do, and for me it's been an affair of the heart, especially because the region that we serve as a foundation is essentially the same region that I had the honor and privilege to serve as a congressman some many years ago. So when I came home and landed this job, I landed well, because it's all about Southern Minnesota and the region that I love. Let me thank our sponsors, Sibley County. You already heard from someone from the county. I also want to thank Granite Partners. They're a regional, an upper Midwest regional firm that invests in manufacturing businesses to keep them going and keep them vibrant in our smaller towns. Clifton Larson Allen, an accountancy firm, is another sponsor. Nugert Advertising or Communications out of Northfield is another. Black Ridge Group at Morgan Stanley, they actually help manage our endowment fund, and the local community funds that are under our umbrella are also invested through there. Winthrop Economic Development Authority, and Revocity, which is another regional real estate management firm, and they've worked with a number of towns in our region to help with real estate, commercial real estate projects, and we do invest in the work they do. And then the community sponsor for tonight's event is Cambria, and everybody knows Cambria, it's not too many miles down the road. So with that, I'm going to introduce several of our partners who will talk a bit more about how SMIF has impacted the work that they do. Our first speaker is Michael Luth. He's the city administrator and EDA director for Winthrop, and thank you again for your sponsorship. The communities of Gibbon, Fairfax, and Winthrop are collectively part of SMIF's Rural Entrepreneur Venture Program, a 3-year commitment toward economic development planning in small towns. They're midway through their program, and they've already achieved quite a bit. He'll talk about that. They have created a new brand called 17 Mile EDC, Economic Development Corridor, which has already begun opening doors to new opportunities. With that, welcome Michael.
Thank you, Tim. And thank you for your service to Southern Minnesota. We appreciate it. So I am here and I only have 3 minutes. I could speak all night. My group is already starting to time me. So we initially started the REP program with SMIF to collectively get a regional approach to economic development when it came to entrepreneurs. There are really 3 core things that we've learned in the last year and a half. And I'm going to bring you through those because I think it highlights some of the program's success. So we, as a rep group, received a grant last December that has really allowed us to take these 3 core problems that we've had in our 3 communities and turn them into really good opportunities for entrepreneurs. The first one that we had to push right away is that Rev was coming in to take care of everything, run summer festivals, build buildings, make sure that businesses kept running. That is not our goal. So Chamber of Commerce, you guys can continue to work, is what we told them. Continue to do your thing. CNCs in Fairfax, we know that you guys are doing great work, hard work already. Our focus with Rev was really reaching those entrepreneurs that either didn't have a plan already or really needed help going to the next step. So that was one of the barriers, getting everyone to really collectively come with us on this journey, knowing that there was a beacon, a small beacon of hope, and that we can help. We can help you get the resources that you need. The second thing was about capacity. So in each one of our towns, the city administrator is also the EDA director, which if you ever like wearing 2 hats at the same time, you know that one always takes a back seat. And normally for us as administrators, that always seems to be economic development, unless we do it on our own time or on weekends. And I'm probably preaching to the choir, but we don't get enough time to do actual economic development. So one of our goals this past year, and what we were awarded the grant for, was to hire a business coach to come in, and we finally have completed that. We, in the last 2 weeks, hired Mary Hudson from Hutchinson. She was the Chamber of Commerce president and CEO. And she's also right now with Goldman Sachs, going around the country and promoting entrepreneurship. She's actually in New York right now, that's why she's not here. So we're really, really happy to take Mary on. It's really about giving her the resources to get to our entrepreneurs, to take time out of her day to go speak to them where they are at. Whether that's their garage or a small business storefront. Now we'll have that connection point between the 3 communities. So that was our capacity problem. And I'll say that on the largest problem that we had, that was probably it. It's just growing capacity within our ranks. And then the last one was just being known. The 17 Mile EDC represents 17 miles of train track and highway between Fairfax and Winthrop, Gibbon being in the middle. And one day, this is a true story, I was coming home, it's a true story. I was coming home and it said Winthrop, 17 miles. And I was like, well, isn't that cool? Like, it's a cool number. And so I immediately called one of our core members, Katie Graham, and she didn't answer. Which is normal because she was probably like, oh, Michael. Anyway, so later that night we got together and I said, 17 Mile EDC just makes so much sense. It's 17 miles of train track, there's 17 miles of fiber, there's 17 miles of highway. I think we should change our name. And so with that, we also started branding our own website. Our website connects the 3 ADAs that we currently have, Chamber of Commerce's, and it will also give a connecting point to our new business coach. So the website should launch actually next week or the week after. I have to get permission first. And we should be ready to go. So with SMIF's grants and their help, we've really helped economic development. If you haven't been in downtown Winthrop, Gibbon, or Fairfax lately, there's some really good things going on. Really great new boutiques, Cadco in Gibbon and Lavender Boutique in Winthrop. Really successful business owners are coming out of the woodworks. The last thing that we're having the problem with now is that too many people are contacting us. So Mary is going to help us with that because it is one of the great things about the grant is that we are getting known, and once we really start getting up and running, we can start helping more entrepreneurs. So thank you, and thank you to SMIF.
Thank you, Michael. In small towns, we like the challenge of too many people getting a hold of us, and glad to hear the success and the work that's going on with 17 Mile EDC. Our second speaker is Heather Sanders, Early Learning Supervisor at the New Prague Area Community Education Program. New Prague Schools has received numerous early child care and education grants as well as literacy grants from our foundation over the years. Funds have been used for Professional Development Day for educators, for creating developmentally appropriate play spaces, for a child care provider appreciation event, and lots more. New Prague has also been part of SMIF's Early Childhood Initiative since 2017. Heather.
Good evening and thank you. I am not like Michael, I have a script and I've actually timed it, so I think I'll be under 3 minutes. I started in New Prague July 1st, and I had no idea what it would be like working in a smaller town. I lived in Lakeville, raised my family in Lakeville, grew up in Mankato, husband's from Faribault, grandparents had farms in Nicollet and Lake Crystal, so it's not like I was absent from small towns, but had just never worked in a place where I can walk in the bakery in downtown New Prague and they're like, hey Heather, how's it going? So I absolutely love that. And the Colburn's grocery store, they're starting to know my little lunch order too. So that has been so fun for me. And what do I want to say here? I was also new to SMIF. So my predecessor, Mary Bartushik, was like, we've got a lot of grants here, SMIF's amazing, you're going to want to get to know them right away, reach out to them right away. And I did, and I met Heidi and Margaret sitting right here, and they are amazing as well, and they helped me get my daycare provider appreciation event off. They're like, oh, you need books, here's some books. Oh, write this grant, write that grant, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing to have so much support. I've also never known of a foundation, thanks to Tim and your work, that focuses on early childhood. As an early childhood administrator, I've been in this field my entire career, and I'm a grandma, so and I have little gray hairs right here to prove it. But so about 25 years I've worked in early learning, and it's rare for a nonprofit or a foundation to be intricately focused on early education. So I came from places where community looked a little different, connections were harder to come by, collaboration didn't always feel personal because I was in the East Metro. But here's the exact opposite. New Prague has welcomed me with open arms, people wave when they drive by, know your name, and genuinely care about what's happening in each other's lives, and that is powerful. And then I was introduced to SMIF. Talk about an organization that lives out its values. SMIF doesn't just talk about building strong communities, they roll up their sleeves and make it happen by supporting local school districts, businesses, and investing in early childhood and helping grow real change. Their work is meaningful, rooted, and far-reaching. I've already seen their impact touches lives in big ways and small. We in New Prague have worked, like Tim said, since 2017, but for me it's just been since 2024. But we've gotten literacy grants, and we're able to bring in a speaker this coming August from California, Lisa Murphy, that will talk about play, and we're going to invite all of our surrounding districts and partners, TCU, Northfield, to name a few. And without that grant, we wouldn't have been able to afford to have her come. This Sprout event is unique. I have personally never been in Henderson, even though my grandma, who lived in Nicollet, had a sister who lived in Henderson, so I always heard about this town but had never been here, so it's amazing to be here for the first time. I love that there's events like this where we can come together, spark new ideas, share stories, and see where we might grow together. Whether you're here representing a business, an organization, or just your own passion for your community of Henderson, your presence here tonight matters. So let's enjoy the conversations, and most importantly, take a moment to introduce yourself to someone new. You never know what kind of collaboration or friendship might sprout from tonight. Thank you to SMIF for being such a powerful catalyst for connection and change, and thank you to each one of you for showing up. You are the seeds that build strong communities. Let's keep growing together.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you for your great work around early childhood in New Prague. Our final speaker is Dan Amelius, Interim Executive Director of the National Ruby-Throated Hummingbird Center. I love it. But I'm trying to figure out, do hummingbirds really sit in those little swings that you've got on sale in the room? I may have to buy one and take it home with me. Dana is not only the executive director here, but involved with Henderson Feathers, the group that created this new center, sponsors the popular Henderson Hummingbird Hurrah, and maintains the Hummingbird Garden in Bender Park. And some of you, if you Googled how to get here, may have seen that garden because it took you the other direction on 6th Street. But it's a great group, and this is a great idea for a town that already has a number of fun and interesting things going on. This group has received 2 small town grants from SMIF to support the establishment of this unique center. So let's hear more about it from Dana.
Welcome, everybody. It's really great to be here. This has been a labor of love for so many people. For me, I know nothing about hummingbirds, and I know nothing about pollinators and flowers, but I've been active in many different nonprofits and spent most of my days in rural Winthrop during those farm crisis years. And so this one is really personal to me. It combines both my love for Sibley County. I now live in St. Peter, spent most of my life in Winthrop, but the River Valley is very special, and it brings together my love for intergenerational community development. We got an innovative learning grant from Minnesota Department of Education and teamed up with Minnesota New Country Schools. So I want anyone, Ava Strand was the lead MNCS student. Ava, if you're here.
She went back to presentation.
She went back to it's presentation night at Minnesota New Country School. David Rice is the advisor mentor. If there's anyone else from MNCS here to stand.
Gary.
Welcome to Henderson.
This is the muscle behind the center.
Yes. Almost all of this work, including the deck, the painting, all the construction work on the gift shop, has all been volunteer labor. We received 2 small SMIF grants, small town grants. We've leveraged now, I was figuring out today, we've leveraged almost $200,000 for this facility. It's the former St. Joseph's Catholic Church Parish Hall. St. Joseph's unfortunately closed. The city purchased these 2 properties. During the farm crisis, I attended the SMIF, the origin years of the Initiative Foundation. I never throw away, I was running the Winthrop News, I owned the Winthrop News at the time. I was the only rural journalist to attend the press conference at Jonathan, the subdivision in Chaska. So this is a deep love of mine as well. My late wife, Kim, who died almost 10 years ago, was a part of the first Sibley County group that provided input to the initiative. I want to give special thanks to David Rice from MNCS, those student volunteers who are having prom next door at the church on Friday. Joe Tafts, our president, has been an amazing volunteer. Doug Thomas and Joe blasted through the brick walls twice. If there's any of the other board members here, I know Beth is here, Sue, Mary Ann, Brenda, have been the volunteers that have sustained Henderson Feathers for up to 25 years. So this labor of love is to try and keep Dolores Hagen, the founder of Henderson Feathers, alive. And so as we grow, we'll be looking at hopefully putting in some more plants up this way for pollinators. But it has been a true blessing for me to be able to be a part of this. I do want to give one quick explanation. The mosaics outside were also funded by SMIF in 2018. That's why they're on display. Because of COVID, many projects took a back seat. Teresa Kanichny is here. Artist, and Karen Wolf, I believe, is also, and we'll finish up those projects, and they'll be a part of both the Hummingbird Center and the garden. So thank you all for being here. Enjoy the rest of the evening and network and meet some new people.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dana. It's a great facility, and I know they're going to. It's going to keep going, and it's going to be a great asset to the community as years go by. So appreciate you and all the others that were part of Henderson Feathers. Sorry, Heather. All right, I'm going to wrap up my part by simply thanking all of our speakers for their presentation about their work here in the community and nearby, and the connection that we were able to make through SMIF to support their great work. There's also, so take advantage of them after we break. I'm going to turn it over to my incoming board chair in just a minute. Take advantage of them if you want to learn more about the programs that they are involved with here in the area. There are also a number of SMIF staff people here who day in and day out get this work done. So all of you just raise your hand so people know who you are and they can seek you out if they have questions about SMIF and our programming. I once again want to thank the National Ruby-Throated Hummingbird Center for hosting the event, and to mention that Joe Tafts, the president of Henderson Feathers, made the hummingbird magnets, which are at your various tables, and you are free to take one home with you. So a nice souvenir for the evening. We're also excited to provide glass ornaments made by a local stained glass artist, D. Thomas. So I think you heard about those when you walked in the door. And thank you, Dee. And thank you, Joe. And then we have a table, is it near the, here at the front. And you're free to grab anything here and certainly check out other resources that are available through SMIF to support small towns across southern Minnesota. And with that, the incoming board chair of the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation, Erin Bailey, is going to wrap things up.
Thank you, Tim. SMIF's investment in the regions rely on financial support from donors, which I know you're all aware of. And as Tim mentioned earlier, he is transitioning into retirement. So in honor of Tim's 18 years as president and CEO of SMIF, we have launched a new fund. It's the Tim Penny Small Town Fund, which will support small towns like Henderson in our region. So we are fortunate enough tonight to not only have Tim here, but to also have the life-size cutout of Tim, which the life-size cutout version has more information about this fund and a QR code on it where you can donate if you are so inclined. So I'm going to thank you in advance right now if you choose to make a donation or just want to go pick up more materials about the fund. They are also right over in that corner. So with that, we are here till 6:30 tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Please mingle, network, enjoy more food. I see there's plenty of it. And it was so great to have you all here tonight.